Here's something to smile about. According to Kurt's forecast, spring conditions haven't settled in just yet.
However, one family business is gearing up to make some sweet memories for area families in the months ahead. I met up with the owner and operator of the Lucky Duck ice cream truck to see how their nostalgic business will be a treat for locals.
Welcome to Lucky Duck. What are you having today?
That could be a hard question to answer, as Stacy Sullivan and her family have an extensive menu at their Lucky Duck ice cream truck. Sullivan tells us she wanted to bring a piece of her childhood back to life.
I grew up really loving the ice cream truck coming into my neighborhood. It was part of a lot of core childhood memories after Little League games and coming down the street and running for it when you hear the music.
The mother of two says in these times of groceries and so much more being delivered to people's doors, they thought,
why not have the ice cream truck come down and pass out treats to the kids and create those memories and some nostalgia.
The name itself sparks a core memory for Sullivan. She told WABI her mother always called her Lucky Duck. Last year, it all came together when this Lucky Duck found her truck. The flavors include the wide range of the classics mixed with some trending treats and, of course, something special for the pups. This year, they're spreading the luck to surrounding communities.
This year, we're expanding to Brewer, Herman, and Winterport, and we're super excited about that because the early buzz from those communities has been what we saw with Hamden. People are very excited to have this in their neighborhood.
So when you hear that classic tune this spring and summer, it's most likely the Sullivan family sprinkling a little luck and a lot of flavor at every stop they make. Lucky Duck will be opening just in time for April vacation. To keep up with the sweet treats available and hours of operation, you can follow the link on our website.
Oh, it's so nostalgic.
Yeah, I loved it. She had the classic song and everything.
Great.